And a little update to that girl, a little too eager Tinder girls being restored back to Tinder story. Here is something from Jezebel.com. Uh, they have an interview with a man who was campaigned at by Bernie Sanders fans on dating apps. I guess this was before they got restored. Uh, well, there's no point really what is in the article before the actual interview, but just some details that he gives. The guy they're calling Luke explains that he'd mutually swiped with a lady on Bumble, an app I'm not familiar with. I'm quite familiar with Tinder, and that she messaged him first, as are the rules in that app. I guess girls, ladies first. They had what Luke characterizes as a pleasant conversation. He asked for her number. She declined, asking to stick to GChat. He asked her for a drink. She, quote, tentatively agreed, but only after a video chat. He said he was free right now. That didn't work for her. They did video chat, but it was clear that she wasn't meeting. Maybe he wasn't cute, though. Who knows? I mean, people have many dimensions. So here is, I posted this picture. The girl says, "We didn't get to Bernie. You should still vote for him." He says, "Ha, you're too much." She messaged, "It's a serious thing. It's really believe he is the best candidate." Well, I guess everyone makes typos. I do too. And the primaries are crucial. Bernie 2016. Don't forget to vote in the primaries. He wrote, "Ha, I won't. Honestly, not sure I can trust your judgment, though." There's no picture of her, by the way. "It's fine. Look at his website, BernieSanders.com. Then she followed up without a message from him. "Did you check it out?" He wrote, "Nope. Why don't you give me a pitch as to why I should vote for him?" She writes, "He has a very consistent record on voting, and his stands have also remained consistent even when unpopular. He says what he thinks, so there isn't as much ambiguity as with most politicians." Then she has a long tirade, which is a little more specific. It's as if, she copied and pasted this. "He put out a clear report on his healthcare plan and how to pay for it. He has a brilliant financial advisory team that has goals and plans for removing corporate loopholes. He doesn't have any super PACs." By the way, PACs should be capitalized. "He's refused money from big banks." And we know, by the way, me editorializing here, how tied Hillary Clinton is to Wall Street. Release the damn Goldman Sachs transcripts already, Hillary, you witch. Anyway, back to what it said. "He's been involved in politics since he was like 20. I'm not sure that's a good thing, by the way. Boy, Trump could make something of that, as could Carly or Ben. "He isn't an isolationist, but he doesn't support most wars and has voted against the recent invasions." Well, that probably is in common with some of the Republican candidates who are doing well, who are not part of the establishments. And this is, by the way, very good. A good explanation. "He supports reasonable gun laws. He is from a rural state and understands that guns are part of some American cultures, but strongly believes in screening and not in civilian assault rifles." Let me add the caveat that he's from Burlington, which is really the biggest city in Vermont, but Vermont is a very rural state. "He's smart. Wants to legalize and tax marijuana." That's well, that's kind of specific there. Like, I guess the fact that it's being taxed shouldn't appeal to people, but these are Democrats we're talking about. Then she writes, "Questions?" Then he writes, "Well, now I need to know why I shouldn't vote for Hillary." Well, she doesn't get into the rape enablement of Bill and so many things she could get into, Benghazi, etc. But she writes, She horribly inconsistent and plays to the safe middle ground almost always, always, always." By the way, not always. "Regardless of what she does or thinks." I don't know about you. I have no idea what Hillary thinks other than advancing her power, her personal agenda. "She's unprincipled. Look at her voting record. She's all over the place." Well, there isn't much of a voting record the last 8 years. She's been out of the Senate, but I mean, I think there can be some other things out. Jezebel asked this guy, "Did you feel bummed out that you were essentially the subject of a one-woman voter drive?" Amused, totally confused. By the way, why can't this be mixed with sex? I mean, didn't you ever hear of getting laid during the big protests in the 60s? That's why 3/4 of the guys were even there. That's just me editorializing. What's with these girls today? I mean, like, you get some and you join in and you probably go to the rallies and start doing the same thing. What's wrong with these girls today? Blah, 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 more. Then there was much more, a spammier one, like where it just said, "Hi, do you have a second to learn about our savior, Bernie Sanders?" By the way, to be fair to Bernie, I don't think he'd call himself his savior. He's a humble guy. I don't think he's making that claim. His interview is really not that interesting. He says, "I respect that these women care enough about something important for the demographic that uses these apps that they are using it to push their agenda. And if I end up voting for Hillary, I can appreciate that they cared about the race that much because it is important. But I imagine this is turning off a lot of people. He also says, am I bummed that I have now been the subject of this twice? No. Amused? Absolutely. I want to see pictures. I really want to see pictures here. Another exchange about Hillary in which Hillary is spelled with one L. They may want to work that out. Then the girl says, he asks her, okay, fair. This is a hilarious good use of Tinder. By the way, it's not very hilarious. You could do a lot more hilarious stuff with Hillary. Do you also use it to go on dates or just to support our savior? And then she writes, mostly for Bernie. Pretty sure I'm asexual at this point. I mean, just think of the jokes you could make about, like, as for sex, I am all for consent, as opposed to the guy Hillary enabled all those years. Anyhow, whatever. Okay, it's not that interesting. By the way, you know, politics, especially this year, are very important for compatibility, so there's nothing wrong with that. They should get someone better to write this. I mean, whoever's planning this, and it seems very unplanned, should just do a much more effective job. That's my opinion. Okay, it's Adam. Hope you enjoyed this. Swipe right away.